This statement from Isaiah Rodgers Sr., by the way, basically admits to everything.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard for him to walk this one back and say, well, no, I didn't bet on Colts game. Addressing the current reports, I want to take full responsibility for my actions. I know I have made mistakes, and I am willing to do whatever it takes to repair the situation. The last thing I ever wanted to do was to be a distraction to the Colts organization, my coaches, and my teammates. I've let people down that I care about. I made an error in judgment, and I am going to work hard to make sure that those mistakes are rectified through this process. It's an honor to play in the NFL, and I have never taken that lightly. I'm very sorry for all of this. Dude, you're done. You're just done. You're done for at least a year, if not for good.
Yeah.
And he's basically admitting to it, and it's a shame. And it's not a mistake. It's not an error in judgment. It's a lifestyle that he committed to. I said the same thing when Mike Vick was busted for 6 years of dogfighting and made a mistake. You didn't make a mistake. You were living a life that was premised on having dogs fight each other and killing the dogs that you deemed were unfit to go in and fight. That's not a mistake. That's a path that you embarked on and stayed on. Isaiah Rodgers selected a path, he embarked on it, and he stayed on it. And when you get popped, it's a mistake. It's not a mistake. And it's not something you're going to be able to walk away from easily. It's a minimum of a year, and he's got to do some heavy lifting in the course of the next year to get reinstated. That's how they do it. Out for a year, and then you've got to comply with reinstatement. But for something like this, and when the commissioner has full power to do whatever he wants, unchecked by the union, given this, I would suspect that they've already run these scenarios at 345 Park Avenue. We find a guy who's betting on his team, betting on games involving his team. He's done, and he can never play again. Period. Over. Finito. Kaput.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt that that's what we see there. It's unfortunate. It is. It's amazing. I really can't believe that a player would make this mistake. On the heels of Calvin Ridley. It is, and then the guy that, this guy's a good player. Just to hit on the football aspect of this a little bit. I mean, we showed that Dalvin Cook play before there. Show that again if we got that, guys. I mean, the dude's got, he's classifies as 3 rockets up his ass type of football player. I mean, he's a phenomenal. He's one of the better returners in all of football. So they're going to miss this player, and that's what's a shame, too. It's a guy that, because of all the things you're talking about, Mike, and the mistakes that he's made, and, you're right, it's not a mistake. It's a way of life that was wrong that he justified somehow in his brain for a period of time, and now that's going to cost him, a lot more money than he was going to make gambling on damn basketball games, football games, and whatever else. And that's where I feel for the player, but it's hard to have an excuse. Look at him at the bottom of the screen here. I mean, this guy, he can go. There's some things about him that are special. He'd take on just about anybody in football in a race, and he ain't going to get to show that speed for a while now.
Well, the fact that, if this is true, the account was set up in someone else's name, that shows awareness that he was doing something he shouldn't have done. It's not a mistake. It's a mistake if nobody told me about the policy, or I just wasn't paying attention. I was thinking about something else. I didn't fully understand it. I didn't know I couldn't bet in the facility. I don't understand why I can bet out on the street corner, but I can't bet the moment I walk through the door. I don't understand that. They didn't explain that to me. He can't say any of that. If he set up an account in somebody else's name, or if somebody else set up an account and basically gave him the keys to it, he is trying to skirt the rules. So that part of it is, I think,
undeniable,
damning.
Yeah,
right. But you still got guys who, there's another Lions player who's under investigation. That was reported by The Athletic, I think, within the past couple of weeks, or maybe the defector.com. One of those two places reported that there is this investigation that's happening. And I suspect there will be more. There was an item from Kalen Kaler of The Athletic yesterday just about how pervasive it really is. And then this all hits in the afternoon. But there's plenty of guys out there who are betting, and they just haven't been caught.
It's astounding. I don't mean by that the players. I just mean by the general public. That's what I mean. And it's hard to think that, the players don't get, influenced by the general public and their friends when they go home. It's like, that's what I mean. There's not very many people in my age group who are sports fans where I feel like they don't bet on something, a few times a week, Mike.
I don't, and I won't. Thanks to the dude that sat outside the grand jury room back in 1958. He told me at a very young age, you can't win. The bottom line. You think you can win? And I'm sorry, this message is brought to you by BetMGM. You think you can win, you're not going to win. Over the long haul, they're going to win. You get a little bit here and a little bit there. And every time I hear about somebody winning, somebody won $100,000 gambling. All right, tell me about all of his losses now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're gonna have that day. It's like golfing. You're gonna have that shot that brings you back, but then there's all the other shots that you don't want to talk about. You're gonna have that win that keeps you going, but over time, they're gonna rob you blind. You're gonna lose. It's not gonna work out to your benefit. Period. So that's why it's so transparent. The sports books revel in their losses. They love everybody to know about it. Why? Because they know we get more people to bet, more money. Over time, we win.
Yeah.
So, we took a horrible bath this weekend. What a shame. Woe is us. Come bet some more. Please come bet some more. Yeah. Oh, God, we got destroyed in that game. Please come bet some more. So over the long haul, you can't win. Now, if you break even and you count it as entertainment expenses, or even if you lose a little bit and you count it as, hey, this is fun, I kind of enjoy it. It gives you endorphins or whatever. The dopamine, it gets me excited when I win. I don't mind when I lose. It gets me excited when I win. Then fine, you know that going in. But for the most part, you're not going to win. Let me say this, because this is funny. This came up 2 weeks ago in the aftermath of something about gambling. Right after I'd been called a conspiracy theorist too by Howie Roseman. I was on 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh, and they were busting my chops about what Howie said about being a conspiracy theorist, and we were laughing about that and having fun. So then one of the hosts says, do you think like if a big-name quarterback was involved with gambling and they had the evidence, they would just look the other way? And I said, and I'm the conspiracy theorist? And that's what you're going to throw out there? But you know what, Chris? Plenty of people think that. And I'm not going to name names. I'm just going to say big-time franchise quarterback, because we know that the NFL worships at the altar of the franchise quarterback. They know the franchise quarterback is what makes the NFL world go round. They just explained a few weeks ago how they needed to see where's Aaron Rodgers going to be, where's this guy going to be before they lock in the primetime schedule. They want great quarterbacks to be able to play. What happens? What happens? You can insert your own names. What happens if that quarterback ends up coming back with the information from FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, whoever? Hey, what we think this guy has been betting. What's the NFL going to do?
They're going to suspend him. They're going to suspend him. There's nothing bigger than the NFL. We watched football the year after Peyton Manning retired. We're going to watch it this year without Tom Brady. We're going to watch it. If they'll bring Tom Brady down for Deflategate and make that ruckus about that for almost 2 years, then they're going to get a damn quarterback that gambles.
Well, time out. The whole, I don't.
I don't want to go there. I'm just saying they weren't afraid to attack.
Deeper down. Sometimes there's other agendas that cause them to do it. With Bountygate, they went after the Saints because they had a broader cultural problem with this kind of extracurricular stuff they were concerned about at the time when they were getting sued into oblivion by former players. They needed to show that they give a crap about player health and safety, and the Saints became the team they went after, and they ignored every other instance of it. I remember asking questions. What about this? What about this? They're saying Greg Williams did it here. Nothing.
They just wanted to make their point. That was it. Right.
Plugged it with cement and moved on.
Right.
They wanted to make their point and move on.
Right.
So, yes, if there is a point where they're like, man, no matter what we do, we can't get anybody to understand this. Yeah, it's fortuitous if a big-name player ends up getting ensnared in this. Now we can finally send the message to everyone. We're going to be without this great player for a year, but it's going to send a message to everyone about what they can't do. There is a point where it's fortuitous. The other problem is this, though, Chris. If you've got state agencies that have to take action, if you've got undeniable digital footprints coming from
there's too many
sports
people,
books,
right?
How can you
keep everybody
this
quiet?
Like, exercising discretion and looking the other way. This is as bright line as it gets.
Yeah.
And if somebody did it yeah, you're going to have a lot of people involved in the conspiracy you're trying to cover up.
Exactly.
And then it's just a matter of time before somebody reports
Exactly.
the NFL looked the other way
Right.
on some big-time quarterback
Right.
being involved in gambling.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think that they have to go wherever the evidence leads them.
Yeah.
And if they keep getting clear proof of guys doing things they shouldn't do with Big Brother, then it's going to be Big Shield to the rescue, and that player's out for 6 games, a full year, or longer. And what we're trying to do here, and this gets back to the fundamental problem that football players, for the most part, don't follow football. They're just incredibly skilled athletes who are doing other things with their free time. They're not watching shows like this. We're sending the message they're not listening. Hopefully they will, and I'm going to flood our Twitter page, our website, with this message to get the message to the players. I mean, because if the teams in the league are failing to have that straight on, look them in the eye, then I'm going to do the digital equivalent of it. Guys, you can't do this, or you will be done. We assume you want to continue to play. We assume you want to continue to get compensated at a high level for it. If you do this, that's gone, possibly forever.
Yeah, agreed. We'll see what they do. I don't know what the measures are going to be here. Maybe this is the one that, opens up more eyes here. But, hey, they can't mess around with this. They can't. And, yeah, I don't care who it is, star player, quarterback, whatever. If they find out that this is going on, they got to end it immediately. If they want their game to continue and grow and have consumer confidence, and they want their teams to appreciate from, $1 billion to $4 billion in a 5-year span, these are all the things that are, going to affect that. And everybody, as we know, not you, the whole world is looking for conspiracies. Everybody. I mean, again, like I said, how many people last night were going on a rampage of, I'm going to find Isaiah Rodgers when he threw the game and bet on it and did something so glaring. Everybody's looking for that, and that's where the NFL has to be really tough on this subject.
And I wasn't. And I'm a top 5 conspiracy
top
theorist.
Top five.
Maybe I've fallen down the
You're
ranks
you're out of the rankings. You are.
Because I was the one pushing back. I was saying, Pete, you're wasting your time until we know that he was betting against the Colts.
Right.
Don't go looking for plays where he whiffed on someone absent evidence that he was betting against the Colts. Once we hear that, then go find it. But until we know that, it's pointless. But, you said this earlier before we go to break about how guys can get into it one step at a time. And they can get to a point where, we match up well with this team. I know what the game plan is. I know what we're going to do. The flip side's very true as well. Man, we've had shit practices this week.
That's right, too. Right.
The quarterback.
Exactly.
The quarterback. They say the quarterback's not on the injury report. Well,
I know he's hurt. His shoulder's
That's
sore.
That's not normal.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We're done. We got no chance in this.
Right. I'm down. I'm down 4,000 from basketball games. Right. But now let me make it up, because I know this week we're not going to cover the spread. That's where I'm totally with you, and just make no gambling at all as you're a professional athlete. Just end it. So there's no situation where you feel like you got to catch up or make up for losses that you might have.
Yesterday we did a draft of the unproven quarterbacks with the highest expectations. And along the way we realized it's not all that easy to decide which quarterbacks are proven or unproven. So we got a list of quarterbacks, and we're going to discuss, are they proven or are they unproven? We'll do that when this Tuesday edition of PFT Live continues right after this. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.